Good morning. It is Sunday, week 5 already. I mean, we're almost a third of the way through the season already. Shit is crazy, going fast. How you guys doing this morning?
Good, Sully.
I'm good. I'm a lot better after Josh Allen hit Stephon Diggs for a touchdown. I can tell you that. But so far so good. Bryce, how's your morning?
I definitely needed that too. I was hoping this would be a little bit higher scoring, having some T-Law and Diggs, but the leagues are going good. It's always nice to wake up and see there's only football on at 9:30 instead of waiting all the way till 1 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone. So that's always a plus on these Sundays.
Football,
How you, Rick?
Football. Hey, I'm good. I'm alive, kind of half.
Bears are looking decent the past 2 weeks.
I mean,
offense at least.
You know that's what I've been saying. That offense I thought was going to look like from the get-go. Why they didn't move the pocket early and do the same things they've been doing, I have no idea. It's crazy, but
right?
They are looking good. Their defense.
You didn't see last year what happened when they did that, right? Like, I don't get
it. That's why it didn't make any sense, and everybody, whatever. I understand Washington and Denver are not the best defenses in the league, but we haven't done this against anybody since Jay Cutler did it in 2007 or 9 or whatever year it was. Like, we haven't had a quarterback throw 4 touchdowns in consecutive games in 15 years. And we've played a lot of bad defenses over the course of that time. So it's nice. It's, I want to see it continue. Obviously, my portfolio was not looking very good.
Getting better, brother. It's getting better.
The case isn't empty because I got rid of all my Justin Fields at the low. They're all in a box right now because I'm getting ready to bomb for insects here with them all moving in in the fall here. So I got them all put away so they don't get the fog on them. But yeah, I mean, it's what I thought this offense was going to look like the entire season. And like you said, last year for weeks 1 through 6, they called that same offense and it did not work. And when they changed that going into the New England game, the offense clicked, right? And then it died off at the end, but Mooney was hurt. The number 1 receiver was, Chase Claypool, who we know what happened with him in Chicago, and guys like ESB and Dante Pettis. And the difference right now is DJ Moore. And that dude is good. If there was any question on whether he was a number 1 receiver or not, I think that's got answered over the last 2 weeks. They're on the same page. They're clicking, and hopefully they can continue so we can at least see some offense. It's absolutely brutal when you lose 14 games in a row, and a good portion of those games have no offense either. So there's literally nothing to get excited about. But we had that 5-week stretch last year where we led the NFL in scoring. And I think that's what Justin Fields and DJ Moore can help you do. The run game's good. It looks like Herbert's going to miss some time, but it definitely is the first time I've been excited for a little while. For sure.
Cole Kmet's looking good too.
Yeah.
Big target in the middle of the field always helps.
Now it's just Fields and Mooney got to get back on the same page. I don't know if Mooney, he tracked that first ball weird, the first play of the game the other night. But then he didn't look his normal speed later on some throws where Justin missed him. So I don't know if he's kind of still dealing with the injury that he had earlier in the year and he's not full go, because those guys are the guys that were on that you expected to be on because they played with each other. But we won't talk about the Bears the whole time. But I am happy. James Conner, Derrick Henry, or DeAndre Swift in Superflex. Should he start all 3 over Goff and or Stafford? He has Josh Allen in already. So he's got Josh Allen playing. He can start Goff or Stafford, or he can play all 3 running backs. So if you're starting the quarterback, which running back are you going to sit? Sully, you already had an idea of this. We talked pre-show.
Yeah, I'm going to start one of these quarterbacks, and that's actually a harder decision for me right now with what's going on in Detroit. But I'm going to stick with Derrick Henry. I still think the volume is there and the upside is there. So he would be the running back that I would pick. And I think with ASB out, I might start Stafford getting cut back, having Puka, Tutu, all those weapons. I probably would go Stafford over Goff.
So if he's starting 2 of the 3, which other running back are you going to start there?
Oh, I apologize. Swift.
So Henry and Swift for you. Where are you at with this, Bryce?
I don't know. This is such a tough one. I think Derrick Henry for sure. The usage is more clear. I think with that same logic, I'm going to go with James Conner.
Yeah,
I would really like to get all three of these guys in my lineups. Like this is a coin flip for pretty much all three of these backs. And then did you go with Goff as your?
I went with Stafford.
I would go with Stafford as well. The Eagles' secondary this year has not been very good. Like Mac Jones threw for 300 yards on him this year. Sam Howell threw for over 300 yards on him this year. Those guys aren't consistently throwing over 300 yards against good defenses. So I would expect Stafford to have, with cutback and Puka, to also put up 300 plus yards today as well, more confidently than I would Jared Goff.
Yeah, the running back's tough, right? If you're going to sit one of them, that I do think that Connor and Swift are close right now, as we see the way that this is played out in the backfield for the Eagles. But I think I'm going to agree. Connor just finds the end zone, like always, gets all the touches there, and that offense has actually been better than we thought it was going to be. Right? Like Josh Dobbs hasn't been terrible. He has been pretty good for what we expected. So I'm going to go with Connor Henry as well, and then go with, I'm on board with you guys, Stafford. Goff was my number 10 QB before the Amon-Ra news of him, most likely being out. Yeah. So I would have dropped him. We were talking about it last night. I would have dropped him down below Stafford and Dak, who I have like in the 14-15 range. So I would be going with Stafford as well. DM Fresh says, who do you think I should start, Josh Reynolds or Romeo Dobbs? I know Amon-Ra St. Brown is doubtful and Watson is back for Green Bay. I'm torn between the two. Bryce, who are you going to start here, Reynolds or Dobbs?
I do think Romeo Dobbs is probably the better receiver, but Josh Reynolds should get a ton of targets today. They said prior to Amon-Ra not playing that Jameson Williams wouldn't be coming back like 100, like on 100% snap count or whatever his 100% workload. So I would imagine they still take that same path there. And Josh Reynolds is a go-to guy for Jared Goff. So I could see him getting a lot of targets today. So I will go with Josh Reynolds. Sully.
I'm Romeo Dobbs here fairly easily. I think Detroit's going to run all over Carolina with Monty. And I think Laporta has a big game. Khalif Raymond, I think a little bit of Reynolds and a little bit of Williams. So I just think for a volume standpoint and a likeliness to score, I'll take Romeo Dobbs.
Again, I do think this one is close, but I think I do lean Josh Reynolds just a little bit. Even with Amon-Ra in there, Reynolds was getting a lot of action, so I would assume that he gets the biggest bump, but I do agree Laporta, like if you're playing DFS, he's probably going to be highly owned, but Laporta's a great play this week. So I do lean Reynolds just a little bit, but it's another very, very close one to start this stream. Let's get some obvious ones. Let's tee us up a couple. Warm us up.
Yeah, you warm us up. Jeez.
Right?
Jonathan says, good morning. Good morning, Jonathan. Lex says, happy Sunday, y'all. Joe says, sup, bros? What's going on? Hey, we appreciate all of you. If you're in here, we know Sunday mornings with football going on, it's a little tough. That's why we started a little late this week as well. But we appreciate you guys dropping in while football's going on. That's awesome. Hit that like button if you would. So Jonathan wants to know, should I go Jameson Williams or Zach Moss for the flex? Also, by the way, last week I went with Chuba instead of McKinnon.
Did either of
I got nothing to say. McKinnon had a nice day. Who knew? Oh, yeah. Me.
McKinnon did last week? I thought it was a week before he had a nice game.
Yes, it had good games 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, nice.
What did he? I don't even.
I knew Isaiah Pacheco. I knew Pacheco had a really good game last week. I didn't know if McKinnon did. I thought McKinnon.
Yeah, he gave you the RB2 week that he
no. Last week McKinnon had 3 attempts for 7 rushing yards and 0 receptions.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I read that.
So he scored 0.7 points.
Oh, my apologies.
Well, good job going with Chuba. But with this,
good job.
Chuba probably at 0.6.
Yeah.
No, Chuba was okay. Chuba, because Sanders was limited last week, right? So Chuba was pretty solid. Caught some balls and ran well. So sorry, I read that totally wrong. Still early for me here.
I'm going with Jameson Williams here. I mean, I can't imagine Zach Moss is going to have much value with Jonathan Taylor back, full go, and a new contract.
They say that JT's on a pitch count. I don't buy it.
What's a pitch count for him, though, right? Like, his normal is like 25 touches. So if you put him on a pitch count, you're 12 to 15 maybe, at the worst. So it is a tough defense that he's playing with Tennessee and their run defense. But I don't care with JT, right? We had this conversation earlier in the year. The only time I care about the Tennessee matchup is when it's B-tier running backs. I don't want to start those against them. But I agree. All these guys are basically on a pitch count, right? All three of them that we're talking about in this with JT, Zach Moss, and Jameson Williams, because Zach Moss is on pitch count because Jonathan Taylor's there. So I'm going to go with the guy that has one catch in his career. It was a 41-yard touchdown, and maybe he can pull one of those out of his hat today and get us there. So I'm going with Jameson Williams as well. Don't love any of it, though.
I'll join you guys. I'd really like to know if you have any other options, though, because honestly, I'd prefer to sit both these guys. But obviously, you're asking us this question. You don't, so I will go with Jameson as well.
Yeah, I definitely don't want Zach Moss on limited touches versus Tennessee defense. That's for sure.
Until 2 weeks ago, I didn't want Zach Moss at all.
Valid.
True.
Motion Man says, full PPR, start Ertz, Waller, or Jake Ferguson. The fact that we are to this point breaks my heart because I was a big Waller guy in the offseason, and it's not coming to fruition. So, Sully, which one of these three tight ends are you going to start? Is it still Waller, or are you going with one of the other two?
I needed 8 points out of Darren Waller to stay alive in a guillotine league last week, and I didn't get it, so I'm a little sad, a little hurt, this week, right? A little mad. So I have a feeling that Waller bounces back. I don't think Miami's a screaming hell of a defense, and they got to figure some stuff out. And all the reports out of New York was that Daniel Jones needs to get Waller more involved. My only concern with Waller is that offensive line is so horrific that he's either chipping or blocking on almost every play. That said, I'm going to go with the best player here, and it's Darren Waller. It would be Ertz after that, and Ferguson just because of matchup, but I'll go with Waller. How about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I was looking at their targets while you were explaining them that, and Ertz has a lot of targets this year. He's got like 10, 8, 10, and 2. But Waller's not super far behind on targets either. With the matchup against Miami, the offense struggling, he's got to be more involved. The opportunity for him this week, with them going to have to be throwing the ball all game. Saquon Barkley's out. So they're not going to probably have much of a run game involved. I'll go with Darren Waller as well, but I wouldn't feel bad if you wanted a safer play in Ertz. I think he's got a nicer floor at this point.
I don't know. Yeah.
So the news did come out. Saquon is out for sure.
I read this morning he is highly doubtful. So
okay. So yeah, I mean, this Giants offense hasn't done crap, but I mean, Ertz has been mostly empty targets, right? Like they haven't turned into fantasy production. So I'm going to stick with Waller here. I'm going to avoid the 49ers defense with Jake Ferguson. I do think he is a nice play, but I'll avoid as much of that game as possible. Obviously starting the Pollards and CD Lambs. But past that, I'll let that sit if I have options. So I'm going to go with Waller here as well. Minnie Jordan says, good morning. In a full PPR, choose 3. So we're sitting one of these guys. We have Kamara, Kyron, Achane, and Mixon. Bryce, which one of these are you sitting?
I'm not sitting Kamara. I'm not sitting Mixon. Comes down to Kyron Williams and Achane for me. Achane last week had a 60% snap percentage. Only had 11 touches and still put up 31 fantasy points. So it's really hard. It's really hard to sit that dude when he just has such big play upside.
While we're talking about him, I'll run some numbers by you that I ran this week because, sometimes players are so freaking efficient that it doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical. It's so far better than everybody else. So right now, Achane is averaging 11.4 yards per carry.
Yep.
Nuts. Yeah. He's only got 36 touches on the year.
Yeah.
He has an 18% touchdown rate. To put that into perspective, CMC is pretty good, right? And he's got a pretty high touchdown rate. His is 8%. So Achane is 10% better. So if he regresses to the mean, which we assume he will at some point, is it this week against the Giants? I don't know. But it's the efficiency is just bonkers right now. But he's got the matchup against the Giants. Kyron's got the Eagles. So if we're deciding between those two, that's got to play a part, right?
Kind of. I mean, Kyron's as involved in the pass game as anybody else, it seems like, but that could change with Cooper Kupp too. So that's a big question mark. I think I'll go with Achane at I'll go just based on the matchup. I think Kyron gets more touches, but it might not be significantly more. This might be Achane's backfield before we know it, with more of like a 60 to 70% share moving forward. So, Sully.
Yeah, I think this is sitting Kyron pretty easily. I think with a full complement of wide receivers and Tyler Higbee and the matchup that Kyron's facing, and he's a little bit banged up, and you saw a little bit more Ronnie Rivers last week. Achane is just on fire, and yes, he's not going to continue to put up video game numbers on a weekly basis, but I'm going to ride him right now. He's this hot, and Kamara Mixon are easy starts for me. So I'm sitting Kyron here fairly easily.
Yeah, I'm going to sit Kyron as well. I don't know that it's not easy for me just because I still think they're going to have to get the ball out fast against this Philadelphia front. So I think he could see a lot of what he loses in rushing attempts. I could see him making up with opportunities in the pass game. But that Giants team just ain't it right now. And Achane, even though I think he regresses, it might not be this week. Right. Giants aren't the team that I just assume is going to start stopping people at this point. So I'm with you. I'm sitting Kyron as well, but
they could be front runners for Caleb Williams at this point with how these other teams are looking.
That's us.
Hey, listen, we're fighting too, buddy. The Patriots are fighting too.
You cursed your defense last week, hey?
Well, yeah, I mean, just the first drive, Christian Gonzalez tears his label.
Talking about Gonzalez, and then I was like, oops.
Yep, Matt Judon's out for the year. We're screwed.
Hey, I'm happy that you guys are fighting over who's fighting for it, and that I'm not any longer fighting for it, because obviously I want to see my boy Justin stay in Chicago.
I think I get that, but I think the one win doesn't exactly exclude you from that race.
Well, if you're fighting for it, that means we've got to beat you, right?
Well, we'll confident we'll split this year. Confident.
I was gonna say if you think you're really going for it, then that means that we have to beat you, and then that means we win or you guys win tiebreakers and shit.
You'd have to
get to our pick. So it's hard for both of us in division with. It's hard for both of us in division with two matchups against each other to both go for it. It's about impossible.
Yeah,
but we still have an egg in that basket with Carolina. They're still the only unbeaten team.
True.
So we can win some games, and Carolina can still be up there for us. I hope they don't have the number one, because I don't want the Caleb Williams thing, because I want my boy Justin to do good and stay in Chicago. But I wouldn't be mad if they were number two and we could add Marvin Harrison into the same wide receiver group as DJ Moore. That would be fun.
You might want to look at getting some offensive line help. And I know Marvin Harrison is a huge get.
Our offensive,
if you like your investment, I would be adding to your offensive line.
Our defensive line is where we need the most work now. Our offensive line and pass pro has actually been pretty solid for how hurt we've been this year. But we still have that other first pick, right? So we can go defensive end or offensive line after getting Harrison. It's not the same as the Bengals, right? Taking Chase. They didn't have another pick to improve whatever that is that they find they need to prove. So that's the nice part.
Very true.
Plus, we could trade back. If we're in the 2, we could trade back because people are going to want Drake May as well.
Yes, they will.
Could you imagine, though, if they had the first pick and they were happy with Justin Fields and they could trade back what they got for Bryce Young, what they could get for Caleb?
I don't think you pass up on Caleb. I
think it'd be more likely to trade Justin Fields.
So do I.
I think it depends how it looks the rest of the year, but
that's true.
You could get a Ricky Williams type deal for the number one.
I like
pick
how we talked about. I like how we say we're not going to talk about the Bears at the beginning, and we're talking about the Bears.
Well, we're talking about the number one pick, really, and all the teams that could fight for it. But Olave,
Yep.
oh, wait, we didn't even answer this one.
No.
Oh, shit.
Dobbs or Watson?
Dobbs for me.
It's Watson for me. He was on a count last week, and I know he got the touchdown to save his fantasy day, but I just think he's the best wide receiver on the team. Biggest big play ability, so I'll go with Christian Watson.
I agree. I'm going Watson as well. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Christian Watson.
I think he's got better hands, but I think Christian Watson can get open better. Dobbs can catch. He can catch.
It'll probably be Jaden Reed. So
could be
Olave or Romeo Dobbs with the car injury. Still Olave fairly easily for me here.
Yeah, always.
Yep.
Emmy also wants to know Hunter Henry or Kyle Pitts. Is Pitts droppable? So I'll start this one. It's Hunter Henry to start, but I don't think Kyle Pitts is droppable. The production hasn't been there, but he's been getting the same targets as London and Jonnu Smith, right? I think they're literally 20, 21, and 22 targets so far this year. And his hasn't come to fruition, and it could flip at any time. This may be the last week that we see Desmond Ridder starting, right? If he plays bad again, then Taylor Heineke's got to get in there, right? Like they can't. Their team overall is too good to keep riding Ridder if they're not going to move the ball on offense. So I think Pitts is still a hold, but it's Hunter Henry. Sully, what do you think?
I'm starting Hunter Henry just because of all the things that you said. You know, when I was looking at the targets for Atlanta as well, and I think you're right. I think Jonnu or Kyle Pitts, one of them has one more target than the other. The catchable percentage is where it's massively different. I think Pitts has about a 20 to 30% less catchable rate. And there's a lot of talk out of Atlanta that Kyle Pitts still isn't 100% healthy. I've been trying to buy Kyle Pitts all week. I haven't been successful yet, but I'm not dropping him unless it's an 18 league. Even in a 10-team league, I'm going to hold him on my bench. But I'll start Hunter Henry this week, even though I don't love it, but I will.
Yeah, it's Hunter Henry. Hold on to Kyle Pitts because when Taylor Heineke comes in, he's going to be a massive upgrade in the sense of a passing quarterback. So I was going to mention that, like you did, Rick.
And we've seen
Heineke loves his tight end.
I was going to say, and we've seen that in the past with Logan Thomas when he was healthy in Washington.
He looked good on Thursday too.
If Logan Thomas is healthy, he's a top 12 tight end. You put him in your lineup. The problem is he can't stay on the freaking field.
I didn't put him in. I had Hunter Henry in over him.
I have such a hard time picturing Logan Thomas as a quarterback.
Isn't that
he was
crazy?
drafted as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And every time I look at him, I'm like, how the hell was this guy a quarterback? And he was drafted as a QB.
We need to start two. We've got Romeo Dobbs, Marquise Brown, Zay Flowers, and Jamison Williams. I think we're all going to agree that with this quadrant of wide receivers, we're going to push Williams out. He's not even going to be in question, right? So we're going to be picking two out of Dobbs, Brown, and Flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Jamison Williams is fool's gold this week, I think.
So
trap.
Yeah. Unless it's like the question we had earlier where you don't have a lot of good options. Right. So, Bryce, which one are you going to sit out of Dobbs, Brown, and Flowers to join Jamison Williams on the bench?
I'm definitely starting Romeo. I think I'm going to sit. Is Odell playing today?
You say he's going to, yeah. I don't think it matters, though, really, to be honest.
No, I don't think it does, but it could just affect Zay Flowers' targets a little bit. I'm going to start Romeo Dobbs and Marquise Brown out of these guys. They're all pretty close for me, but I'll go with those two.
That's where I'm at as well. Okay. So for all the reasons you said,
I'm 100% on Marquise Brown. That's the easiest one for me, and I think it is for both of you as well. And I'm kind of Dobbs against the Raiders or Zay against the Steelers. Zay gets a ton of work, but I think Dobbs is probably going to, and Dobbs might score. So I'll go with Dobbs and Brown. But man, I want Zay Flowers in my lineup.
I agree. That's how I was. Marquise Brown was the easy one, and then it's between Dobbs and Flowers. But yeah, I'm on the same page there. G Ratty says Kittle or Higbee in a 0.5 PPR. I don't know about you guys, but Kittle's almost not startable when Brandon Ayuk and Debo are healthy.
Could Higbee be that way?
Agree, but is Higbee startable with Cup and Tutu?
That is
that's
very valid point.
I'm gonna go with George Kittle because even though he is like the obvious third option at this point, like if you told me one of these tight ends scored 25 points by the end of the day, I think there would be a higher percentage that guy would be George Kittle over Tyler Higbee. He could just do more after the catch. So I'll go just based on that.
Yeah, I have Higbee one spot higher than Kittle, and I have the same concerns that Rick does. I think Kittle is just not a focal point of that offense when they have all their weapons, and they appear to have all their weapons. Debo is supposedly still not 100%, but he's going to play. But, Purdy just looks for Ayuk all the time. So I'm going to go with Higbee, and it's going to be close, but I'll go with Higbee.
In our combined rankings, Sully, it comes out to Kittle at tight end 7 and Higbee at tight end 8. Really separates and helps with this question, right? I mean,
yeah,
I probably lean Kittle just a little bit for the same reasons. Higbee may be the number 4 or 5 option in this offense. Both of them have defenses that you don't typically want to target. Dallas for Kittle and Philly for Higbee. So there's not a good matchup to separate the two. I'm gonna lean Kittle slightly.
Yeah. I just don't think Philly's the defense that they were. They are on the ground, but they are certainly not in the air.
Joe Lindsay says, in 1 PPR flex, are we playing Shaheed or McLaughlin? Sully, what are you doing here?
Well, Derek Carr's shoulder is an issue, and Shaheed's the home run play. So McLaughlin got a nice little bit of touches, especially in the passing game last week with Javonte out, and it sounds like Javante's a game time. So even if he goes, he's probably limited. I'm going to go with McLaughlin here. Bryce?
If Javonte is playing, I'd probably just go Shaheed, just because I don't want. I'm more certain of Shaheed's involvement, like in the offense, I guess. I'm not sure what this Broncos backfield is doing, but if Javonte Williams is out, I'm easily putting in McLaughlin. He got a lot more work when Javonte is out, but when he's in, he gets like very minimal. So, Rick,
it's McLaughlin easily for me with the Javonte injury. Even if he does play, I think McLaughlin's going to be heavily involved. All McLaughlin has done with his opportunities has been good, so I would have expected him to be more involved no matter what. And then Shaheed, as you said, he's not a volume guy. He's the home run threat, and I'm going to take the guy that I feel is going to get at least 12, 13 touches on the low side with that Javonte injury and McLaughlin. Okay, we've already answered that one. Revenge game from McKinnon. True. Vikings.
Minnesota. They don't need Jerick McKinnon today. They could use me and win that football game.
Well, that might be why they use him.
Could be.
Morning, tough spot. He's got Moss, Singletary, and Ronnie Rivers. So which one of these are you going to suggest legendary Jaws starts in his lineup? Bryce.
Was Ronnie Rivers used at all last week?
Quite a bit down the stretch because Kyron got banged up. Not quite a bit, but I think he had like 8 to 10 touches, and he looked pretty good.
He had 11. He had 11 touches, 2 of them being catches. Tough matchup though. Give me Zach Moss, I guess. All these guys are backup running backs, but if it's true that Jonathan Taylor could be on somewhat of a pitch count, Zach Moss has more opportunity for touches, and he's valuable in the pass game in comparison to these other guys. I'll go Zach Moss. Sully?
This is the kind of shit that gets us going in the morning. Hey, like
Yeah,
this is truly terrible, Jaws.
I don't have like any
almost
shares of any of these guys, so I'm like super ignorant on them. But I'm like having to look.
I wish
it up
I
as
took a
look at it.
pre-workout before reading this question to get me
That's what I'm
get me
freaking-
I
juiced
wish
up
I
to
had
answer.
Celsius.
I wish I had more of an understanding of what Singletary's done for Houston this year, and I don't know if he's done much.
I think he's averaging around 7 to 8 fantasy points, or 6 to 8 fantasy points.
Okay. That might be where I'd lean here. So format matters to me in PPR. I think I would go Singletary, and in any half format or non, I would probably go Moss.
Moss is out for me again. Those B tier running backs, unlimited touches versus a Tennessee defense that doesn't give up rush yards. That eliminates him for me. Then it comes down to Ronnie Rivers and Singletary. We've got the Eagles for Ronnie Rivers. Plus, he's Kyron was getting all the work. So if he's good, then how much work is he gonna get? I'm gonna go Singletary as well. They have Atlanta. So if I'm picking my poison, I'll pick on the Atlanta defense for running back over the Eagles and the Titans. I love Jonathan's questions every week because they're TD only. So I don't know how much we've been helping him with our TD only suggestions, but
never even heard of that.
I'm going Rashee Rice here.
Rashee Rice
that used to be how a lot of them were. I'm going Rashee Rice here though.
All day.
Yep, Rashee Rice.
The gift that keeps on giving. The Vikings give up more points to opposing wide receivers than any team in fantasy right now by a long shot.
Can't wait to start DJ Moore against them. Do we play next? No.
Next week.
We don't play. We do. We do play next week. Yep.
I'm not sure where it is, but
that ought to be fun. That ought to be about 800 yards passing in that game, probably.
Oh, yeah. It might be 65-63 or something like that at the end of that one.
Smash the over.
Yep.
Yeah. I have Goff, Laporta, Mostert, Achane, and Collins. Are those all good starts? So I think everybody, Goff is like a mid start, right? Without Amon-Ra, but he's still startable. Everybody else I would love to have in my lineup.
Where do I have Goff? I have Goff pretty low. I have it at 16, but I still think if it's a 1 QB format, he's still a good start. Laporta, I think, has a monster week. Mostert and Achane could both go crazy and play a video game again, and Nico looks awesome. So, and CJ Stroud looks awesome. He's on the verge of setting a record for most pass attempts as a rookie without a pick.
I think he already did he not break it?
Yeah, he did.
I thought he had to do something today.
No, I think he broke it.
He might have another record though that he could break.
Just like Puka, every time he catches something,
it's a new record. CJ's a little bit of fool's gold, guys.
He's not going to throw for.
Well, he hasn't been as accurate as everybody thinks. He is actually at the bottom of the league in on-target throws, and he's off-target 22% of the time, which is very, very high. Same with Jordan Love
in the right direction, at least.
But
he's thrown it out of bounds into the middle of the field.
They haven't got picked yet. So, but he's a volume play, right? It's like Burrow his rookie year. There wasn't a whole lot there. Efficiency wise, but when you're dropping back 60 times a game and throwing 45 to 50, fantasy's fine. Not that I think CJ's bad. It's just there's some stuff hidden in the volume. But yeah.
Odell Beckham is officially active, Bryce.
I'll keep him on my bench.
You, me both.
You two and me both.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry or Musgrave?
Musgrave cleared, I'm assuming. Yeah. With concussion and stuff, he's back. I'll go with Musgrave here. I like him. He's pretty athletic. Got a good matchup. Raiders suck.
Yeah.
That's who we have. You guys and the Raiders our next 2 games. So hopefully this offense
bye Caleb Williams.
I guess Musgrave. The Patriots offense is just so terrible. But if they score a touchdown, I feel like it's the highest percentage that it's Hunter Henry that scores it over any other player on that offense. But Musgrave gets the volume, so I'll go with Musgrave.
Hey, how long before Zappy starts for you? Is it a while yet?
I don't know.
When's your bye week?
I don't know. But I don't know. I think they should just keep in Mac Jones if he keeps losing. I think losing is our best option at this point.
Not when your head coach is chasing the all-time record. It's not.
Well,
And
he
not
could
exactly
do better
young.
with Drake May or potentially Caleb Williams or anybody besides Mac Jones. I mean, it's not all Mac's fault. Like, he's throwing to a bunch of wide receiver threes out there, but he's just not built to carry a team that's equipped like this. Like, he'd be fine on the 49ers, but
so would I.
Yeah, true.
Week 11. They're on by in week 11.
That might be the switch time, right? Thank you all for the tip, as I greatly appreciate. Aside Jameson Williams at flex for my question earlier, I also have Dalvin Cook on my bench and Nick Westbrook-Ikeen as my two other options. I'm starting Ikeen out of the three here. Dalvin Cook, they are saying he's getting back up to speed in practice, and him and Breece Hall have an opportunity to wreck defenses late in the year if Zach Wilson continues to improve. But Nick is already getting targets. We've got Treylon Burks out again. I will go with Nick Westbrook out of the three of these guys for this week.
100% I would too.
Yep. Dalvin Cook is droppable.
Yep.
I
don't agree that he's droppable, but
I redraft he is for sure.
2.5 yards per carry looks like crap, and they're taking the reins off of Hall. They're letting him full go. He's going to run away with that backfield.
They didn't pay Dalvin not to use him.
They paid Dalvin his insurance, and $8 million is in their sofa cushions. They'll be fine without that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put money on this one. I bet you Dalvin Cook continues to get more work as the season goes on.
More work than who?
Than he's getting right now. Like, he wasn't fully healthy either coming into the season.
Hasn't been fully healthy coming into the NFL.
Who do you start at flex? Full PPR. He's been pretty damn good in his NFL career, though. Devonta Smith, Dameon Pierce, DeAndre Hopkins.
Man. It's Smith, but get Hopkins in there, too.
One? We only get one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting Smith, but I want all three of these guys in there. Dameon Pierce is the one that's about to kind of pop off. You guys know I haven't been a big fan, but he has been, I think he's 10th in touches and top 3 in red zone opportunities, and they just haven't come to fruition yet. So I think he's going to progress to the mean here.
Yeah, and you brought him up last week, too, so you were bang on there.
Yeah, I'm going Devontae Smith easily.
Saquon's out officially.
Yeah.
Is Kincaid worth dropping? He's crapping the bed in London, and they seem to only target him short. This one for me is tough because we knew Kincaid and any other rookie tight ends typically take time before you start to reap the benefits. So is that going to be the back half of this season, or is this going to be a year 2, year 3 breakout? Obviously what Laporta's doing, you can't use as a benchmark for rookie tight ends because he's doing stuff that no rookie tight end has ever done, just like CJ Stroud's doing stuff no other rookie quarterback has done. So, I mean, if you have a good option, I think he is droppable. But if you drafted him where you drafted him, you had to have understood that it could take some time before he did pop. So you just have to weigh that, in my opinion. So, Sully, I see you nodding. Are you agreeing with what I'm saying, or you got your own thought here?
Both. I definitely agree that you got to wait on these guys. The part I don't really think matters much anymore 4 weeks in is where I drafted him. I think what matters more is what my record is. And I think the format obviously matters huge, right? In a redraft league, and I started 1-3 or 0-4 or even 2-2, Kincaid can go and I'll find a replacement. But obviously a keeper, a dynasty format, there's no way in hell I'm dropping him. But yeah, you got to wait on these guys. Like the best tight ends in football, you know, you look at Mark Andrews, George Kittle, all these guys on and on and on and on, didn't have good rookie years, and then boom, took off once they figured this stuff out. They got a lot to learn coming into the league, but I don't want to drop them, but I'm not going to start them either.
Yeah, you got to learn everything that a tackle has to learn, and then you have to learn everything that a wide receiver has to learn at the same time to be fantasy relevant, right? So it is a lot.
I don't know if Kincaid's much of a blocker either, so that hurts him being on the field. Knox is going to be on the field more.
Yeah, I mean, if you took all the tight end work from the Bills and put it on one player, he'd be a solid player for your lineup. But it's split 50-50 in the sense of like their targets and heck, their snap percentages and everything like that. So he's definitely, I think he's droppable in a redraft league. I just hold on to him in any other format, depending on who's on the waiver wire and you're dropping him for, of course.
Probably not hard to pick back up either, and that's usually a barometer I use when I'm looking to drop a guy.
Mike also wants to know, he's the one that asked the Smith, Pierce, and Hopkins who to start at quarterback, Matthew Stafford or Joe Burrow. Bryce.
This is Matthew Stafford rather easily for me at this point. I don't feel comfortable putting Joe Burrow in my lineup unless in a 1 QB unless we really start to see things turn around. Sully.
Yeah, I have Burrow ranked 14th this week, and I think I'm way too high on him, to be honest. There's nothing I see out of that offense right now that gets me excited. Higgins is out. Chase will probably be blanketed. Tyler Boyd's okay. Joe Mixon's okay. They got nothing at tight end, and Burrow's hurt. So Stafford's got his full complement of weapons this week, and I think he could go wheels up. So it's Stafford for me pretty easily.
Yeah, I have Burrow at 21.
Yeah, and I think that's where I should have him, but I don't. I don't know why. I guess I just can't admit. Probably because I have too many shares.
How sad is this? I have Zach Wilson one spot ahead of Joe Burrow right now.
I'm not that bad, but I can't blame you.
How we got here.
A
lot of the guys below are hurt as well and had question marks when I did this. But I mean, we're talking about like Desmond Ridder, Ryan Tannehill, Mitch Trubisky, those.
Mitch Trubisky.
Well, we didn't know if Pickett was going to be playing or not, so that's why he
Trubisky too. Yeah, I think you had to.
I literally had them in the same spot. Was neither of them good. Mike says, thanks, Foot Legend. Dan, what's up, guys? PPR, fill 2 running backs and a flex with, and then down here, who you guys choose? Stevenson, Connor, Cook, Garrett Wilson. Well,
too late for Cook.
Too late for Cook, yeah. So I'm going.
Well, made for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the other 3.
That probably would have been my decision anyway.
2 and a flex? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would have probably started Cook over Ramondre, to be honest. But
I was going to say, that's probably where I would have been with Connor, Cook, and Wilson. Cortland Sutton or Gus Edwards in the flex in a standard league. Sully, who you starting here?
I don't know. Probably
I'm going
Gus Edwards.
I'm going to go and check our flex rankings here. So we've got.
I just think here's where I struggle with this. I get the standard scoring format, but all Cortland Sutton has to do is catch one pass for 35 yards or 40 yards, and that's half of Gus's day if he doesn't score, right? So I'm going to go with Gus Edwards, but I could see why this is a tough decision for C Notes 301 for sure. What are you doing, Bryce?
I'm just going to go with Cortland Sutton. He's been getting how many touchdowns do he have this year? Didn't he have like 4 or 5? Maybe 3.
I don't know, but he's been getting the lion's share of the targets for sure.
Yeah,
it seems to be. I don't watch a ton of Denver games, but every time I turn it on, it seems to be catching a pass.
Yeah, I mean Russell Wilson's actually quietly looked pretty good this year. Just gets mashed by how bad their defense has been, and it seems like every time the Ravens get within like scoring, close to scoring with just the their offense, it's Lamar running it in. So I'll take Cortland Sutton.
So this is where we're at. Somehow Sully and I both ranked Cortland Sutton 59th overall in our rankings. But to make it even better, I have Gus Edwards at 52 overall. So I'm going Gus Edwards here. But it's not far off. You have him at 78 overall.
Whoa. I guess I don't like Gus then. I'll go with Cortland Sutton. You know what? These rankings, when you do them on Tuesday or Wednesday night, are a little different when you get to Sunday. Probably should.
Yeah,
update
I gotta
these a little bit better.
I gotta try to get more time throughout the week to continue updating them.
Me both, brother.
Especially after we get Friday news, right? We should probably have an update Friday night for sure.
Yeah, we should.
Khalif Raymond or Chuba Hubbard?
Miles Sanders is playing today, right?
Yep. They say he's still a little groin injury affected, though.
I'm going Khalif here with.
I am too.
Sorry.
Amon-Ra out.
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page here. Yep.
He's probably going to get to work. Everybody wants Jameson.
That's exactly what I said earlier, right? Like, he's the guy I think is sneaky here, and he's a good DFS play too. I'll go with Khalif as well.
Scott Carroll says, "Happy Football Sunday. St. Brown is out now. I have to choose between Josh Downs or Kadarius Toney, or do I add Khalif Raymond off the wire? Injuries have been killing me this year. I think I see Sully nodding. I think we're going to be in agreement that we would pick up Khalif Raymond and start him here. Anybody not doing that?
No. I am slamming Kadarius Toney into my lineup against the Minnesota Vikings. Someone has to perform in that offense for them. The Vikings bleed points and yards and catches, and Toney is more than capable of torching us. I'm absolutely playing him.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I'd rather have Khalif Raymond. I don't think they trust Kadarius Toney. He's not even on the field as much as you would expect him to be, being what arguably their most talented wide receiver, like with raw skill. But I feel like after week 1 with all the drops and even in week 2 when they tried to get him more involved, he did have a fumble that they recovered. He's just not on the field enough where I see Khalif Raymond being out there a lot today with Amon-Ra out.
I put $5 on this one.
Okay, Raymond, I'll take Khalif.
Yeah, I'll take it too.
I'll do it.
Okay.
All right.
Because, that Bears defense is just as bad as that Vikings defense, and Toney did absolutely nada against us.
Your defense is bad, but it's not as bad in the second.
Our second?
And I know. I don't care.
Yeah, it is.
45 guys are hurt. The numbers don't lie. Like, the Vikings are getting torched by everybody. The Vikings actually have kind of shored up their run defense a little bit. They're middle of the league in run D, other than Swift shredding them. They've been pretty good.
Exactly where we're at.
Right? So we're actually a little bit better at stopping the run, but we can't stop anything through the air. It's going to be ugly today.
That's where we're at. That's Mr. 388 yards against us Thursday night.
There you go. That's good. I started him, so I was happy.
It wasn't like 300 of those in the second half.
Oh yeah, they only had like 40. They only had 49 yards in the first half.
Well, I think Howell threw 58 times or something.
Yeah. But Dan says, "Is this Danny?" I didn't even put that together last time. Yeah, all right, guess Cook is in my lineup. Forgot about the London time.
Well, I hope he's doing something. He wasn't early, but I hope he's doing something now.
Patty says, risk it with Aaron Jones injury or start Jaleel McLaughlin.
I'm starting Aaron Jones. He's going to play.
Yeah, Aaron Jones for me as well.
I have this problem in a lot of spots, and I am waiting on Aaron Jones, and if I lose, I lose.
Me too.
So Dan says, okay, so one running back to fill one flex in my PPR. Choices are Stevenson, Connor, Garrett Wilson. So one running back, one flex out of these. I'm sitting Stevenson, I think. I don't remember what we said the last time, but I keep fighting over him and Wilson.
I'm sitting Ramondre.
I'm sitting Ramondre as well.
James Cook update, 4 carries for -2 yards, 2 catches for 18. So hopefully picks it up for you, Dan.
Should I pick up
I'm not watching, but apparently Diggs is losing it on the sidelines. Nothing new.
Yeah, he threw a tablet down hard as hell. Had to have broke it.
Should I pick up Ertz or Musgrave to start over Kittle?
I gotta go back to my rankings.
I might start either of these guys over Kittle.
I'm starting Kittle. I have Ertz one spot behind Kittle, and I don't have Musgrave anywhere near. So I'll start Kittle over these two.
I'll start Ertz.
Yeah.
I'm going to start Musgrave, I think.
Thanks for coming, Sports Spotlight.
You're welcome.
I'm
welcome for your help.
I'm looking. I'm not there yet, but that's who I was kind of leaning. I'm sure he's definitely worse in my rankings.
I have Musgrave at 24, which is obviously something I would have updated Friday. I wasn't sure he was cleared, so.
I mean, I'm gonna reluctantly go Ertz here. I just think Musgrave is basically. I mean, he was getting targeted, but younger, more energetic.
That's an interesting offense as well with Watson back and Dobbs and Reed and all the options. So how does that shake out? But I do like how athletic Musgrave looks.
Josh says, yeah, pretty bad. Buys and Gibbs missing has me hurting down bad. So that was to his question earlier.
That Gibbs.
Jonathan says we skipped his question.
I avoided him like the plague.
I don't think we skipped.
No, we didn't. We answered both. We've answered both of his questions. Maybe he thought like we didn't get to him. We probably didn't get to him quick.
Yeah, it takes some time, guys. Going through the list in order. We promise we'll get to your questions. With Javonte being a game time decision, is McLaughlin worth stashing? Should I drop him to pick up and play Breda, or hold him and start Warren? See, I'll start McLaughlin out of all these guys.
Warren's close. First of all, don't drop McLaughlin to pick up Breida, because this is A, doesn't do anything, and B, this is probably only one more week of him.
Yep.
You don't like Jalen Warren, Rick?
I mean, it hasn't turned into much, and Najee for the first time in a while got all the work basically last week. Well, he had 22 carries. And Tomlin came out of that game and said stuff is going to change. So what is that? I don't know what's going to happen with this offense. We've talked about Matt Canada is just not good, right?
Terrible.
They have not had a 400-yard game since he has become their offensive coordinator.
Did you see the kicker? Like after this, they were celebrating. The kicker said it wasn't due to you, like to Matt Canada, like he was celebrating the win. It's like it wasn't your due to you or something like that. Like it was.
They hate him, eh?
Yeah.
Blame Canada.
It was like Chris Boswell, I think, said it. It was funny.
Yeah. Blame Canada. Yeah. Javonte, game time decisions. McLaughlin, we're stashing.
Yes.
He's worth stashing regardless. Do I drop him for Breida? No. Or do I start? So I guess are we starting McLaughlin or Warren? I guess is in essence the question.
I'm starting McLaughlin because I don't think Javonte is going to be worth.
I'm worried that Javonte just isn't what we thought he was. Like he's really slow. Like I don't think he's even remotely close to what he was. But McLaughlin over Warren for me.
So going forward, if anybody, go ahead and finish what you're saying because I'm going off topic.
I just say it's close for me with Warren and McLaughlin, but I'm starting McLaughlin.
Okay, so going forward, if you want to know what wide receiver to start for the Jaguars, little tidbit of news: Doug Peterson, Christian Kirk, and T-Law all live in the same cul-de-sac. So maybe there's a little bit of.
You think they're out throwing it on the street like Tuesday night after dinner?
They could be on the back patio grilling hot dogs and making plans, baby.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, if I'm Calvin Ridley, I'm looking for some real estate on that street, baby.
It's like, can I live in your basement?
You guys got a guest house?
Right?
Barkley is out. Should I play Gus Edwards versus Steelers? Julio McLaughlin versus the Jets if Javonte is out, or Matt Breida versus the Dolphins? I'm picking up Jaleel. No, I'm playing Gus. Sorry.
Gus and Standard, I think.
Yeah, I'll play Gus.
He does say this is the rest of his lineup.
Waddle. Ray, what'd you trade? Montgomery, Hawkinson, Watson. Nice lineup. You'll be good with Gus. He'll get you there.
Andre, Dalvin Cook or Roshan Johnson, 0.5 PPR rest of the season. That's Roshan Johnson. I think I can stop right here. Khalil Herbert is going to miss multiple weeks, so Roshan's going to be the number one running back for the Bears. Assuming he gets back from concussion protocol, but they did have
Foreman if he's on your waiver wire.
13 days. Donta Foreman is a pickup on waivers. He will be.
I think he's a must-add
in the waivers. Right yeah, I'm going that direction. Bryce, I stopped. I didn't even read the whole question, but do you agree with that?
100%. I think Dalvin Cook. I'm with you on Dalvin Cook, where I think he's got to be. Or no, I'm not with you. I'm with Sully on Dalvin Cook, where I think he is droppable in redraft. Send him out for a 3rd round pick in Dynasty if you can even get that.
Good luck.
I'll definitely riding with Roshan Johnson rest of season over Dalvin Cook.
We can figure out a bet on Dalvin Cook and his usage for the rest of the season if we want.
I'll take the under.
What do we go usage? Do we go by touches? Do we go by snap percent?
Well, we can't figure it out right now because we got questions to answer. But
I already figured it out. I'll take the under.
Thanks, guys. I had Cook in my lineup. I'll go with Connor and Wilson to fill it out for the rest of the game.
Good luck, Dan.
Good luck, Danny. Or Dan. Sorry, I don't know if you're the Dan I know or not. Ronald Nikos
re-injured his knee. Damn it.
Who did?
Zay Jones.
Hurt his knee again. Return is questionable.
Ronald Mikos. Says Michael.
Then Michael Gallup.
Oh, he hit it.
Yeah.
Too fast. Michael Gallup or Khalif Raymond, full PPR, need all of the upside. It's Khalif Raymond for me then.
Yeah. With both upside and just, dude's a big playmaker, super fast.
Neither one of these guys probably score, but Khalif could easily go 6 for 56 or something in PPR. That's a great day. So it's Khalif for me, easy.
He almost took a reverse to the house last week.
Yeah.
Big Truth Gaming says in a full point PPR, I need a flex. JMO, Cup, or McLaughlin. It's Cup by a lot.
Leaps and bounds.
Leaps
and
and
a little
bounds,
bit more.
Cup.
I'm a little higher on Cup than that.
I'm surprised we haven't had any of the Jonathan Taylor questions today. What are your guys' opinions on Jonathan Taylor? Is he a must start for you or not? Because this was a hot topic last night on the stream.
Yeah, I mean, I've only have him in 2 leagues, and it's easy. I mean, an easy start for me. I mean, what do you like? I guess what players are you putting in over him? Like what running backs?
I mean, there were a ton of big arguments. People were not on my side last night when I said that he was a must start. Said pitch count, Tennessee. Which I agree. Tennessee's a tough run defense, but
Joe Mixon averaged like 4.8 yards per carry last week against Tennessee. So, I mean, I think the Colts run game's probably stronger than that. You got to focus on 2 guys.
When you see what Zach Moss did with
that's
Anthony
exactly
Richardson,
what I was just about to say.
What is JT going to do? It would be disgusting, that RPO. Now, again, at the same time, Jonathan Taylor is not Jerome Ford, who had 18 rushing yards. Jonathan Taylor is leagues above and beyond. And again, you drafted this guy knowing most likely if you drafted him early in the offseason before he went on the pup, you drafted him in the 3rd round at worst. You used the top 3 round pick on him. If you drafted him after that, you said 4 weeks and then I get to start him, hopefully, right? So here it is. He's available. Start them, mother. Same
Jonathan Taylor. Sorry.
Yeah, we actually got a question with him.
Mr. Scamper.
A year ago, Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey, that was the decision that the people with the 101 were making. Jonathan Taylor hurt his ankle week 1. He was never the same the rest of the way. He, by all accounts, is 100% healthy. He's walking into a backfield that just made Zach Moss look like a viable fantasy option when Zach Moss probably isn't owned prior to this season in a Moss-only league. Like, he's terrible. He's slow and he's inefficient. And Jonathan Taylor is anything but all of that. Jonathan Taylor booms in this offense, and Anthony Richardson gets even that much better with Jonathan Taylor added to that offense as well. That, to Rick's point, that RPO is going to be disgusting. Easily, really Jonathan Taylor's a must start. No doubt about it.
I love it. I have some backup today. I like it because I
Not
got
a doubt in my
last
mind.
night.
Wow.
Could
Those Saturday guys don't know what they're doing.
Should I sit? I'm talking about even in the chat, man. I got called a clown last night. Jonathan Taylor's not a must start, you clown.
Like, at least you didn't say that.
Let me get my red nose.
At least you didn't say Achan's slow.
You didn't say he was slow either. It's easy to misspeak, but should Castile sit Aaron Jones coming off injury? He only had 6 touches last week. Should I stream a different option in my flex? I think we all agree to start Aaron Jones, right?
Well,
unless you have really
Castile
good options.
also knows that he should tell us who his options are.
Yeah, if
you're Castile
picking somebody up off a waiver wire, it's probably not a start over Aaron Jones. That's where I'm at with that.
Castile, you're better. Correct. You're better than that, Castile. Like, seriously.
I don't know if I go that far.
I like him.
So we have
pretty high on Castile.
Mr. Scamper. I've known Castile for too long to be pretty high on him. I've known him since he was like 6. So
this is a good question. And as much as I went on this tangent about JT, this is a fair question.
Hold on. Because I don't know. Mr. Scamper is going to have to clarify this. He says Mostert or Achan, rather. So are we picking JT or Mostert or Achan? But he also says, good morning, guys. And Mr. Scampers is a legend. So
cool cat.
We can go right now if it's JT or Mostert, who are you going with?
JT.
JT for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's Mostert or Achan.
It's Mostert here for me.
I'll go with Achan.
Okay. He clarifies. How would you rank the 3? So I'm going JT, and then I'm still stuck where I was on.
I'm going JT, Achan, and Mostert as like a 2A and 2B. I mean, it's not far off those two.
That's where I'm at. It's so tough.
I rank him how he's listed him.
That's how I think that's how I rank him too. I lean JT, Mostert, Achan.
I just think Mostert gets first crack still, but Achan could just run twice for 85 yards and 2 scores. So who knows?
How confident are we McLaughlin is actually starting? Broncos play this afternoon, so Warren seems safer. Otherwise, I'm stuck with McLaughlin no matter what. Thoughts? I think McLaughlin, whether he starts or not, is going to get a lot of work because Javante's not going to get all of it coming off of a hip flexor. Like that's just it's not going to happen. So I'm going McLaughlin here.
It's interesting because P. Ryan actually, I think, out-touched and out-snapped him, but he just doesn't outperform him. This is a really interesting game, right? Like, don't lose sight of the fact that Sean Payton told Nathaniel Hackett like he's a bag of garbage, and they face each other this week. So I think both of them are going to try to ram it down each other's throat in terms of scoring points. So I think McLaughlin does get used quite a bit this week because he's shifty and he gives them the ability to do things that P. Ryan and a limited Javonte don't. So I do like Warren, and I do think it's close, but I still think that McLaughlin is 10 to 15 touches today and chance to score and does something with them.
Yeah, right. I'm going McLaughlin like I did earlier over Warren, but I also like Warren. But McLaughlin just has a more consistent path to get more touches today, or more clear path, I should say.
The Jets' defense is legit, but from what I've seen this year, you can throw to your running backs on that defense. So I think that could be a big part of that game.
There's actually very few defenses that defend the running back well.
Yeah,
out of the backfield
I agree.
Catching the ball, it's a tough thing to do. Is Keaton Mitchell worth a stash? Big Truth Gaming wants to know: are you going to the well for the injured Ravens running back, which is all of them at all times? It seems like it's tough for me to find a spot for Keaton Mitchell. He's still got a jump of Melvin Gordon. They got Kenyon Drake. They've got Gus Edwards. They've got Justice Hill. There's a lot of jumping he's got to do to be relevant in a redraft league. I think he's definitely worth it on a dynasty roster. What are your thoughts, Bryce?
Yeah, I've got him in I think 2 or 3 of my dynasty rosters just sitting on the IR, not taking up any roster spots, and I'm perfectly fine with that. If you don't have anybody to put in your IR spot, even in a redraft league, if they have that, sure, why not? But he's worth dropping if you got a main player that gets hurt and you don't want to drop in anybody else on your roster and you want to just quickly get a guy for starting. So it just depends. If you have the IR spot, sure, why not? But it's not a guy I'm hoping for in redraft. More excited for him in a dynasty format. Sully?
No, he's not. I don't care for him in any format, to Rick's points. And let's not lose sight that he's also an undrafted free agent. So he passed through the draft for a reason. I don't want him.
Primetime Edit says, this is my team without buys. I am 2-2. What should I do for the year? Lamar Jackson, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, Breece Hall in the flex. I have some opinions.
Hang on and you'll finish 11-2. I think you hang on and finish 11-2. That's what I would do. I think you just had some bad luck. That's a rock star of a line of a team. Like where's the weakness there? Eckler's been hurt. He's coming back. Breece Hall's about to pick up his usage. Mark Andrews is a stud. Cooper's been a little bit victimized by quarterback. The only thing maybe you do is try to split up the Godwin Evans and try to get away from having 2 guys in the same team. But other than that, this team's rock solid. I'm not worried about it at all. Bryce?
Yeah, I probably would like to get rid of Chris Godwin if you can. Get maybe a different wide receiver 3 option for you. But I think Breece Hall's stock only goes up from here. Austin Eckler when he comes back will be, or I mean, he's back this week, right? No, they're on bye.
They're on bye.
Austin Eckler next week will be back more than likely. So you just got to hang on. You might end up 2-3, but your season's not over with that record. So just hold on. See, maybe you can get a win this week because you got Evans and Godwin on bye as well. So that's tough.
And Cooper.
Oh yeah, and Amari Cooper.
Yes. Yeah, this is going to be a tough week with buys for him and Eckler. So he's missing all 4 of those guys in a row for buys.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit tough, but I agree. You hold on. I'm on the opposite side. I think I move Mike Evans because I think he brings you back the best value. I don't think Chris Godwin's going to get you what you want. You might as well just keep him for now. So I could look at moving Mike Evans to separate those two. I do agree with a Baker-led offense. I don't really want to put too many eggs in that receiving core from a week-to-week basis. So I do agree with Sully on that, separating those two. It'd be different if it was like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, right? Like I believe in Hurts to be able to get them guys a little bit more. So that would be my only thing too. And yeah, I mean, you're going to be good with your top 3 running backs there. I think you hold, and then if you can make a deal, I prefer to trade Mike Evans just because the return's going to be better probably. But yeah, you're in a pretty good spot either way. Make COD great again. Full PPR. Need to sit one of these guys. Kyron, Achane, Hall, Lamb, Waddle, Pittman. Need to sit one of these guys. So for me, it comes down to Achane and Waddle, right?
I'm sitting Kyron.
I'm sitting Waddle.
Okay.
I think that's crazy. Yeah, I think I'm sitting Waddle as well. Don't think I'd ever say that, but this year's been pretty disappointing.
Waddle guy.
Yeah, I know. For me, it comes down to Waddle and Hall personally, because I mean, even like Dalvin Cook is still there. It's not like he's not going to be used. I just don't think he's very good.
Breece Hall plays Denver.
I don't care. I mean, this might be a Garrett. This is a Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, you do
day.
care. Yeah, you do care. It's Denver.
I mean, I do, but playing Denver could also make Dalvin Cook look like prime Dalvin Cook today, and they still could ride with him. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, they say that the reins are taken off Hall, right? But it's like, what running back has gotten a significant amount of touches even when he is hurt? Like, it doesn't get a lot. They don't get a lot. So
Hall is my number 1 out of all of these guys. He's the first guy I'm putting in my lineups.
Lamb's my number 1 out of all these guys.
Lamb's my number 2 against the
Lamb
49ers.
Lamb and Pittman. Then
So
yeah, that would be my top 2 out of these guys.
I'm a Hall, Lamb, then Pittman.
So am I. Kyron easily for me. I just don't think he has a great week. I think he's probably okay. I think his role is dramatically about to change.
Kyren might get more catches and targets than Waddle today.
No, not a chance. I'll bet you on that easy.
Well, I'm not going to bet a wide receiver gets more catches and targets, but he could.
Waddle plays the Giants as well, right? Like, let's put it into perspective. It's not exactly a stout defense, but you guys are both on Waddle, hey?
I'm sitting Waddle out of these.
You don't want to bet me Kyren against Waddle? Fantasy points?
I'll do fantasy points.
I'll take Waddle. You guys can have Kyren?
I'll do it.
This is against everything.
I'll bet on anything.
I know you will. You're a DJ.
If you have 4 turtles and you put them down and tell me to pick one
I'm gonna squeeze in a really quick question here. My wife in the Scott Fishbowl is asking me if she should drop Jalen Hyatt and pick up Devontae Parker. Bryce?
No. Devontae Parker is old. He sucks. I wouldn't want any wide receiver for the Patriots at this point. If I did, it would be Kendrick Bourne, and then second would be Demario Douglas, because he's the only one that I think the second half of the season could get more and more involved. I think Parker is just not good. I think once Thornton comes back, he could be the guy they look to down the field more over Parker, because Parker's like that jump ball guy, right? Where you look to down the field, where Thornton might be the guy that you look to also throw down the field, but more as a burner. So I just don't like Parker at all.
I told her no. Rick, what would you do? Would you drop Hyatt for Parker?
I would drop Hyatt for somebody other than Parker. Like there may be an option that I like more to. Right now, you got to look at what's going to happen in Chicago with Mooney not being himself this year, not looking good. Does one of the other options come up? Like there's better high upside options out there. Without really digging, I don't know exactly who. For a week like this week, maybe a guy like Hunter Renfrow for the Raiders, depending on what happens with Adams.
Well, she's trying to protect herself for Monday night because she has Devontae Adams. I see what she's doing.
Okay, then yes, that makes sense. Drop Jalen Hyatt, get Parker, and if Adams can't go, then you put Parker in. That's a game theory option there where it makes sense in that scenario for me to take Parker. James Conner, Alvin Kamara, Dave Montgomery. We need to sit one of these 3. Which one are you going to sit, Bryce?
That's a sick thing. I think I am sitting for the first time this year James Conner out of this group. Too much touchdown upside and usage for David Montgomery. Alvin Kamara caught like 12 passes last week.
I'm with you.
Yeah, this is hard. I mean, the usage for all these guys are great, but yeah, I think I'm sitting James Conner, and it's close. I mean, it's close. It's not like far. He's not far behind these guys, but yeah, give me the other 2.
With Amon-Ra out in that whole situation, Montgomery, Gibbs injured, Montgomery's just going to get too many touches to sit. I agree. Kamara, that shoulder injury for Carr, not looking downfield as much, going to dump it off to Kamara a ton. Those are the 2 that I'm starting here.
Yep, I'm going to use the rest.
Alvin Kamara had 13 catches for 33 yards last week.
That's
13 catches. That's hard to do. I'm sitting James Conner here. James Conner was also on that guillotine league that got cut last week. He had a season low in usage and points and everything. So those are 3 great options, but Conner sits for me.
Also, are you going to play Debo or DeAndre Hopkins? He has McCaffrey, so he would have to double dip on that. I think McCaffrey and any of those 49ers can start at the same time because McCaffrey's so safe. But are you starting Hopkins or are you starting Debo here?
I'm going to start Hopkins. I'm a little worried about Debo banged up and playing less than 100%. We saw that he did basically nothing but decoy last week, so not even sure why he was out there, but I think Tennessee's going to have to throw the football today. So, yep.
I agree with you. I'm starting DeAndre Hopkins here as well. Where are you at here, Bryce?
Tennessee, who they play?
Indianapolis.
Debo's limited though too, or like
Yes, sir.
he's coming off an
Yeah.
injury. Yeah, give me
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins. Even though that his numbers don't show it, he actually looks pretty good out there. Like when the ball's thrown his way, he's still looking like prime D Hop, just not on a good offense.
Yep.
Facebook user wants to know, Michael Thomas or Christian Watson or Josh Reynolds in my flex? Do we start Reynolds in most leagues without the Sun God playing today? That's who I'm starting here. I still think he's going to get a ton.
Who would be your number 2 in this? Because that's a question.
That's tough. I'd probably go Michael Thomas.
He's my 3.
But it's
I've got Christian Watson in over Michael Thomas.
It's close. I could go either way on that one.
Yeah.
I just think
I got Christian Watson over. I got Christian Watson over both of them.
I think Josh Reynolds might have 12, 13 targets this week. With Amon-Ra out, and
yeah,
I mean he was already getting like 8.
Yeah, so. Josh Reynolds is my number 1 too. I'm on that same train today. I think he gets really good volume today. But my favorite player out of these guys as an athlete would definitely be Christian Watson. But
I think the Lions run the snot out of the football today, like a ton of runs today.
With just one guy, who's the other running back now?
They've got
Craig
3
Reynolds or Zonovan Knight.
And Bam will be active. They'll go with those 3, and I still think Laporta has a big day, and Khalif Raymond has a big day. So I still think
they're still going to throw
30
times though.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean then Reynolds is definitely not getting 12 targets on 30 attempts.
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't either.
He's clowning all those guys on target so far. So 12. That was a 12-team super flex. Yeah. So now we have Josh Reynolds or Sutton. Bryce.
Same thing. I really like Josh Reynolds this week, especially when it's put in the same tier as these other guys. Sutton's pretty touchdown dependent, I would imagine. That Broncos wide receiver core, though, I think does have a big day today with all the trash talk on Twitter. But Josh Reynolds' volume today has got to be him. Sully?
I think Sutton's playing against probably the best secondary in the league, and the Jets are a beast back there. And it's not just Sauce, it's the other side as well. I haven't been very high on Josh Reynolds so far in these lines of questions, but I'm Josh Reynolds on this one.
I'm Josh Reynolds as well.
ETN touchdown.
Sauce is the boss.
Catch?
No.
Damn it.
Mr. Scampers. Penguin's going to get right today.
Waddle.
Waddle. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting that together
Scampers
for me.
is correct.
Aiden says Pickens, JT. I don't. I have him in that league. I want to lose him that I got from you. So
yeah, true. I traded.
He can suck the rest of the year. I almost traded him to Matt yesterday. Pickens, JT, or Tutu for his flex.
This is easily JT.
JT.
By a good margin for me. It's certainly not Tutu, and it's certainly not Pickens, so that one's easy for me.
Mr. Scamper says, drop Hyatt for Taysom Hill, obviously. Jose Ramos says, 12-team PPR, bench 1, Kyren, Kamara, Mixon. Kyron's matchup with Philly is bothering me. They don't allow anything to running backs. I am going to sit Kyron here, but I'm not. I'm starting him in most situations, but if it's these 3, then I'm sitting him.
Yeah, same. I mean, I am no problem starting him against Philly just because he's like one of those guys you don't feel starting against anybody because he can get it in the pass. But so Kamara is going to get it in the pass. We saw last week, and then Mixon just he gets used a ton. So yep, Kamara and Mixon for me. I'm benching Kyron.
I've been sitting Kyron all morning, and it's not changing here.
Mixon, Connor, Swift, Henry, Taylor. We need to sit 2 of these.
Holy crap.
What the
I am going to sit James
I'm getting
Conner.
this wrong no matter what. I'm going to get
Connor.
I'm sorry.
I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I think I'm sitting Connor and Mixon.
I'm sitting Swift.
I might sit Swift. Who do they play? Philly plays?
They play the Rams.
Oh, that's juicy. Yeah,
I'm sitting
gonna
Mixon and Connor.
Yeah, it's Connor and Mixon, I think. Jeez, that's nasty. What the heck kind of league is that?
I am sitting Swift and Connor. I'm sitting Swift and Connor.
Wow.
That is gross. That is gross.
You need to trade, my guy.
Make a trade. Yeah.
Make a trade. Make your decisions easier and
make your life a lot easier. It's nice to have depth, but when you're doing this week to week, you're like, what do I do? I think it gets a lot easier for you because Jonathan Taylor is going to be solidified as one of your starters. I don't know what's going on with Henry, right? It's like week to week, like every other week, it's Spears like dominating the opportunity.
Game script dependent.
And then I mean that's tough. But I'm sitting Mixon and Connor, and I can't believe I'm saying that. You've got this, and I've got leagues where I had to start Roshan Johnson this week, and then he got a concussion after 3 touches, and you're sitting here with these 5. I'm jealous. Big time. Well, that is the last question we've got.
Josh Allen's killing me.
I haven't even seen what's going on with the game here. Is it how long?
Their offense looks horrible today,
dude. Isn't it crazy how this year it seems like from week to week teams have like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde more than anything, and that I remember seeing, because we had Dolphins go for 70, and then the next week Bills shut them down and just kick their butt, and then now we're seeing the Bills. It's crazy.
This has been like Josh Allen's career, though. Like he'll put up like 50 points in fantasy, and then the next week he puts up like 12, and then he'll go on a run of putting up 30s, and it's just like he's inconsistent, and this is just, but like not, there's more good games than bad games, but when he has a bad game, it's a bad game. Jeesh.
Oh, Calvin Ridley's turned it on though, huh?
We got a super chat.
But Calvin Ridley's turned it on.
Calvin Ridley missed some time in this one too.
Yeah,
and he missed some time in the concussion. Nice. He had to get cleared out of concussion protocol in this game too.
Okay, Daniel says I'm getting 50-50 split, so Waller or Higbee in PPR. We had this question. It did have another tight end in it, but we all went Waller, right? That did have Higbee. Waller versus Higbee in that one where we all took Waller.
Was Higbee in the Waller question?
Maybe he wasn't. I might be wrong.
Look, I got Waller ranked 6th and Higbee ranked 7th. So I'm not feeling strongly either way. I'm literally the 50-50 split here, but I would probably start Waller. I think that's what I said earlier, but I am, like I said, I'm worried that he's chipping and blocking too much, but
I am also going to go Waller here.
Yeah, same here. If Cooper Kupp was not back, I would probably go Higbee. But with Cooper Kupp back, and I don't think Tutu's going away either, right? He performed pretty admirably after us not seeing anything from him, and nobody really expecting anything from him. He's played pretty damn well this season, so I don't expect him to go away completely. So that puts Higbee at probably the number 4 option at best. Me and Bryce think that Kyron out of the backfields catching the ball is pretty strong this week. So he may end up the 5th option in the passing game this week. So I'll go Waller as well.
Thanks for that, Daniel.
Daniel, you're always in here supporting. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Laura and Jim Cooperman need to know, in a PPR, we need a flex and a running back. We have Khalif Raymond, Jalen Warren, McLaughlin, or Dell. For me, Dell is easily in here at the flex.
Yeah.
I think I'm throwing Dell in as well. It's not as easy,
and we all answered McLaughlin over Warren earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I think Dell and McLaughlin are the options.
They said if they said Javonte was out, I would go with McLaughlin here. I will say that.
But you're picking two. You're picking
You
a
are
flex
anyway.
and a running back.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
That's why I said Dell was the best. I thought Dell was the number one option, so he was going to be the flex, is my opinion.
Okay.
And then we had to pick a running back.
Yep. I read it wrong.
And Dell should bounce back this week. He had a little bit of he got targeted. He just couldn't haul it in last week.
They just throw the ball too much, and Dell's the one with Dell and Nico are the ones with the upside in that offense, and so I'll go Dell and McLaughlin here pretty easily. Daniel says, thanks, guys. No problem at all. So how much time's left in this game?
It's 5 minutes, 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter where I'm at.
I was going to say that if it was almost over, that's going to take 20 minutes, right? So it's going to be at a quarter till, so we don't need to stick around. If it was like under 2 minutes, then it could end fast and people could pop in from watching the game. But after we answer the Big Boz Productions question, hey guys, new to the channel, liked and subscribed. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Who would you start, Stroud or Cousins? Bonus at 200 and 300 yards. For me, this is Cousins against Kansas City. Gonna have to throw a ton. Stroud's gonna throw a ton too, but Cousins has more touchdown upside, I think, with JJ and Addison, and they've got a good little core going there. I'll go with the Vikings, Kirk Cousins. Sully, you agreeing with that?
Yeah, the Vikings will come out and try to run the ball early with Madison and Akers, and they won't be successful. And Kirk will throw so many times this week his arm might fall off. He's probably going to throw the ball more than 50 times. So just based on that, I know Stroud throws a lot too, but Kirk Cousins has better receivers than CJ Stroud. So that's my answer.
Yeah, this is Kirk Cousins for me rather easily.
Facebook user says in Scott Fishbowl 13, I picked up Baker Mayfield week 2 as my third QB. I have Watson, Geno, Baker as my 3 QBs, but all are on bye this week. Not one starting QB is on the waivers. Which backup do I start and hope for some points? I think it's
holy, does that ever suck? Zappy, I think. Barring injury, it's Zappy, right? Because they're not going to give Pickens the hook, and they're not going to give Jimmy the hook. But they could very easily give Mac the hook.
Do you start QBs on – or everybody's on bye?
All three of his are on bye. It's got to be Trubisky or Zappy, right? Like, it's got to be one of those two. If Pickett
gets hurt again,
is injured, Trubisky could come in. Zappy could take over if they bench Mac again. Jimmy G could get hurt too, so it's honestly, you may just put these in a hat. Oh, he already said I went Zappy, so
that's what I would do.
Yeah, probably.
In the Scott Fishbowl this week, I'm playing against Travis Etienne, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. Looking good so far.
Ooh.
All right.
Well, touchdown here. Come on.
I picked up.
Big Boss says, I'm not trying to take away questions from others, but one more if possible. Hey, you're appreciate the thought you're putting into the community. That's very much appreciated, but you're good. We're kind of just like hanging right now anyway. So with Laporta doing so well, Chubb injured, I'm low at running back. Would you use Kelsey as trade bait or trade Laporta? I've been saying this. We are a 9-game stretch in to where Travis Kelsey has come back down to earth and has averaged 15 or a little over 15 points. That's still great for a tight end, but it's not first round worthy production. And it's not just a 4-game stretch to start this. This goes 6 games, 5-6 games back into last season. I'm fine with using the name recognition of Travis Kelsey and the value that you're going to get out of him and using Laporta the rest of the season, because I think that they're going to probably be pretty close in production with the way Detroit is using Laporta. So I am 100% on board with trading Travis Kelsey to upgrade at another position and using Laporta at tight end. What are your thoughts, Sully?
Man, I think you've got to dangle Kelsey out there because he's going to bring you back more than Laporta. At the end of the day, when the dust settles, I don't think Travis Kelsey is fully recovered from his knee injury that he started the season with. There's no receivers in that offense, and he plays with the best quarterback in the league. So at the end of the day, I think Kelsey is dramatically going to outscore Laporta. But from a trade standpoint, if you're weak at running back and you need to bring something in, Kelsey's going to bring you way more than Laporta will. Also playing against Gabe Davis there, Bryce, this week.
Yeah, I am too. He just got one called back, and then he gets one in the very next play.
Touchdown.
Who are you trading here, Bryce?
I would dangle them both out there, to be honest. See which one. I would start with Laporta, and if you're not really happy with what you got, I'm more comfortable starting Travis Kelsey, obviously all year, especially in a redraft, looking to be a contender this year. I would feel way more confident with Kelsey down the stretch than Laporta. Just the rest of your lineup matters. So, I would look to trade Laporta first. Having Kelsey at tight end is just so much more valuable than like having the number one at any other position group. So.
It used to be 100%, but we're going on.
I think it will be though when all the dust settles again.
So
yeah,
we can make a bet here too that Sam Laporta is closer to, like, we can figure out what you said drastically outscores him. So you figure out what you think that difference is. We can make a bet on this because Laporta ain't going nowhere either. But
as soon as you figure out what Dalvin Cooks is, we'll bet that too.
For me, Kelsey he's going to get you second round value. Like, it makes no sense to me not to trade the name recognition of Kelsey because the player you're going to get for them is going to be absolutely somebody you can throw in. I don't know that Laporta is going to bring you near that return. And the upgrade at the other position is going to be bigger than the downgrade from Kelsey to Laporta, in my opinion. Facebook user says Zappy got extra reps this week. Yeah, I'm guessing all three of those guys got extra reps this week. Because of what the starters were going through. Kid Kobe says, good morning. Need 2 upside flex plays, please. Mark Andrews, Garrett Wilson, Tank Dell, Thielen. Who are you starting ahead of Mark Andrews? Is it Kelsey? Do you have Kelsey and Andrews? Half point PPR. So which 2 of these are you going with, Bryce? Andrews, Wilson, Dell, Thielen.
Upside Garrett Wilson and Mark Andrews. Sully.
I am starting Garrett Wilson and Tank Dell. For the upside, I think Dell gives you that 4 for whatever and a couple scores.
Mark Andrews is the number one here for me, and then I'm having a hard time between Tank, Dell, and Wilson. If we knew Zach was going to play like he did against the Chiefs, then I go Garrett Wilson, but I think I'm actually going to go Andrews and Tank Dell here.
So he got
Wilson
2 Tank Dells, 2 Garrett Wilsons, and 2 Mark Andrews.
You're sitting one of the best wide receivers in football against the Denver Broncos if you don't go with Garrett Wilson. That's all I'll have to say.
And
I don't care who his quarterback is.
Tank Dell's also getting 10 targets a game, so that's fine.
That's why I'm starting Wilson and Dell.
Well, yeah, Mark Andrews is the best option out of all of them, though. Like, he's going to get the targets too, and he's got multi-touchdown upside because Lamar is going to look for him in the red zone all the time. So that's where I'm going. Facebook user says trade Kelsey Boz. Douglas says, hey, guys, pick a running back 2 and a flex. We got Gus, Tank Dell, Jalen Warren, any active Lions wide receiver, or Matt Breida. Breida's out for me. Warren's out for me.
PPR, it's Tank Dell and Jalen Warren for me.
Gus and Tank Dell for me.
I'll go Gus and Josh Reynolds.
That's where I forgot the any active. I'm going Gus and Josh Reynolds as well.
Actually, I changed my mind. That's the right answer. It's the any active Lions wide receiver that threw me for a loop.
It threw me off too. Big Truth Gaming says, should I roll with Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields? Yes.
Grab Stafford off waivers too.
Yeah, grab him off waivers, but
it's Dynasty and Stafford's on waivers. I'm grabbing him.
Yes.
Or trading for some depth for Goff. No, I would grab Stafford off waivers and hold all of them.
Yeah, but Richardson and Fields are going to be in my starting lineup every week, unless it goes unless the Bears offense goes back to what they were weeks 1 through 3, and stay there for a while. But even then, Justin Fields still had like a 15-point floor, right? So
yeah, if it's a 1 QB dynasty league, I pick up Stafford and I trade Fields.
Yeah, I guess you could do that. I just don't think you're going to get enough. Stroud or Burrow? Can I play JT today?
Stroud and yes.
Second that.
Stroud and yes. I'm with you. Olave hurt pregame.
What the hell?
What?
Wait, so Olave, what?
Is he in? Is he out? What's happening? Julio, don't do this to me.
You guys find that news on me, for me, please.
Chris Olave. Chris Olave appears to have tweaked his ankle in warm-ups. Please check our blah, 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 blah. So there's no update further than that.
Okay, so elevate Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, because they're going to get all the targets, right?
Yeah, I put in Michael Thomas over Christian Watson if that happens.
Okay, so it's all about me right now. Olave or Dobbs? I got to put Dobbs in, don't I?
Okay, as of 10 minutes ago, he's fully suited running routes with the first team right now. So Olave is. This is 10 minutes ago.
Olave or Dobbs? What do you do?
Olave still. Yep, he's out there. He's fine. That report was like an hour ago that his ankle was messed up, and then 10 minutes ago he's fully dressed out there running routes. So I think we're good.
So another big play to Calvin Ridley, huh?
Yeah, I just saw that. That was a hell of a throw.
I just got the notification. So Kincaid is now in the medical tent too. Okay. So yeah, looks like Olave's still going. According to Bryce, we'll have to pay attention for the next 22 minutes.
Question coming after it, though. Should I pivot to Khalif Raymond? No,
not with that at this point.
Right.
Hey, somebody agrees with me. I'm not getting called a clown tonight. That's good. I don't know who that is over on Facebook, but I appreciate you. They also said Andrews and Dell. CD Smitty says start 2. Gus Edwards, Drake London, Miles Sanders. For me, Gus Edwards is the easy one to start here. And then we get into the old... I'm probably going Edwards and Sanders.
I'll go Edwards and London.
Ugh.
And he says or Najee after.
Oh, Najee. Edwards and Najee for me.
Edwards and Najee. That changes my mind.
I'll start Najee, and I really don't want to start Edwards this week, but I will.
Oh, Travis Etienne just scored.
It is hard to
likes me now.
It is hard to pass.
Travis Etienne scored again, Sully.
Oh, my God. Seriously? Did he catch that one?
Yeah, no. He ripped off a 40-yard run right on the backside.
Oh, my God. So he's...
35-yard touchdown run.
Rust Maniac says full PPR, Algier or Williams at flex.
Hey, I love Rust. I was just playing it this morning.
Barkley is out for me. Should I drop Algier and pick up Breda or maybe Rice?
No. Rice, yes. Unless it's Ray Rice.
I'll keep Algier over Rice. But I'm sorry. Is this Kyron? Is that who we're talking about? Kyron Williams?
I bet this is Jameson. I bet this is Jameson Williams.
Russ, let us know what Williams is this. That is like literally the most popular name in NFL history.
Yeah.
So we need a little bit of guidance on which Williams this is. Russ, let us know, and then we'll be able to answer this. But I'm not dropping Algier. Algier is literally an injury away from. Okay, so it's
who is it?
I'm not dropping Algier. He's one injury away from being a top 12 weekly running back, right? Like,
I'm not dropping him either, but you can't start him right now. Week 1 was
no.
mirage.
I don't think it's. I mean, I think we're going to see more productive weeks from Algier, but I'm going Algier over Williams here, and I'm not dropping for Breda.
I'd drop him for Rashid Rice though, if you need a receiver.
I mean, I'm not. There's no way I'm putting Algier on the waiver wire. That may come back to bite you if Bijan goes down. He's literally a top 12 option weekly.
Sure, but you could be 1-3 or 0-4, and you got to worry about that later. So if I needed to, dropping some stuff here, I would. Rashid Rice is in a really good spot this week, so I would. If I need a win, I'm making that move for sure.
I would drop Williams before I drop Algier.
I'm starting Jameson Williams over Algier this week.
I'm not dropping I agree with the Algier over Williams, but I would also drop because I'd have Rice over both of them. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I would drop Jameson Williams for Rice. Like literally, they might be the same player the rest of the year anyway. Because Williams ain't the number one. Rice has an opportunity to be the number one wide receiver in the Kansas City. So I agree with that. But Algier's just, he may not be starting for you weekly, but he is the most valuable backup in the league. If we see Bijan miss time, Algier is an RB1 weekly. I can't drop him. I just can't. That is going to be it, though. It is 12:42. We wish everybody good luck. We will be back Tuesday night. I might stream tonight for waivers because I'm by myself and I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I will figure that out. You'll see it pop up. Make sure you have those notifications turned on. So I may be live tonight. If not, I'll figure something out for waivers. Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Oh, Manuel came in. Hey, bro, start 2. Matt Breda, Javonte, or Jalen Warren? Javonte and Jalen Warren for me.
Matt Breida
for me as well.
Drop Matt Breida.
Jazz says sit 1 Hopkins, Myers, or Pickens.
Sitting Pickens.
I'm sitting Pickens.
Pickens for me as well. All right, Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern PM. Be there.